And welcome back, everyone. This is a very exciting video for me. First of all, I've got some goodies, obviously, but also I finally got a new camera. I'm not going to be using my old DSLR. Hopefully this one's better. This will be the first video I record with it, so we'll see how it goes. But yes, I have a couple things here that arrived in the mail, some manga as well as a figure, and then just something for me. But I'll get to that in the end. So Crunchyroll recently had some sales. Usually as well, whenever Crunchyroll has sales, it's either due to a holiday or in response of another online shop sales, which prompts Amazon to also have sales. So Target, Amazon, and Crunchyroll, I believe, are still having their sales right now. Crunchyroll's having it due to Anime, I believe is the name of their holiday. So Anime is a holiday that Crunchyroll's celebrating, I'm assuming, all of anime and manga through 1 month, and they're celebrating through different sales every week of the month. So I picked up a couple things because they're really, I think, trying to clear out their warehouses. They're just constantly putting certain things on sale. I'm really annoyed that Skate the Infinity still hasn't gone on sale. As soon as it does, I'm buying it. That's really something I want in my collection before it sells out. But I'll settle for some manga for now. Amazon also had a few discounts on some manga and anime. Not too much that I was interested in, but I did pick up a few things. I believe the main discount that Crunchyroll has right now is if you buy 2 figures, you get 1 for free. Or if you buy 2 of either manga, anime, or figures, you get something at a discount or something. That's the only reason I bought that figure. But I'll do the figure at the end. First thing, I actually didn't buy online. This is from a friend of mine who went to Half Price Books and found volume 7 of the Code Geass Solution of the Rebellion manga. I've just been collecting these as I find them because they are out of print, but I'm finding that they're not that hard to find, which is really neat. But obviously the volumes you find will be scattered. I don't find like volume 1, 2, 3 all at once usually. I think I have 1 through 4, if not 1, 2, and 4. And now I have 7. So very cool. This is just the adaptation of the anime, because the anime did come first. It was an original anime, and then they adapted it to a manga afterwards, since it was so popular. I think there are slight differences in the manga compared to the anime, but I'm not 100% sure. I never actually read the manga when I was younger. I was primarily a fan of the anime, but this is a nice thick volume as well, so excited to flip through that when I get the chance. Next, I purchased this from Amazon, Ichi the Witch Volume 2. This is a manga by the same author as Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun, in collaboration with the artist Shiro Usazaki. So art is gorgeous. I love this. It also has a very neat plot, and I had been reading it online when it came out for a couple months. I haven't gone back to catch up in a minute, so I'm gonna have to do that, but I really wanted to pick up volume 2, and I think volume 3 is either already released or it's on its way, so I'll definitely have to pick that up at some point. As I said, the art style is really beautiful, and the story is very unique. Witches seem to be a popular topic right now. There's a lot of series that are gaining popularity, or were already popular, that revolve around witches, wizards, magic, especially with Witch Hat Atelier, which is amazing, by the way. The anime releasing and getting everyone interested in witches again. I'm hoping Ichi the Witch gets more popular in the West. And then we'll get an anime. I feel like an anime is coming. It's quite popular in Japan from what I hear. If you've never heard of it, the basic story is that in this universe, women are the main ones that can wield magic. But due to a loophole, with the way that they obtain this magic, a boy, Ichi, happens to gain magic powers, and he becomes the first male witch. And this is his mentor who discovers him. So he more or less goes through trials to try and prove himself. And there's another overarching plot, but super interesting. I love all the character designs. Art is beautiful. Ichi himself is so entertaining. And you know, another win for Osamu Nishi, who has a ton of sides and spin-offs for Iruma, Welcome to Demon School Iruma. The Mafia anime is coming, and you know, this is already pretty popular in Japan, so a lot of wins for that author. Next, I have a BL manga. This is Wild Roses and Pretenders. I primarily got this because I got volume 2 during a sale at a heavy discount, but they did not have volume 1, I believe, or it just wasn't on sale. Either way, I wanted it, obviously. I need volume 1 if I have volume 2, and this happened to be on a slight discount on Amazon. I am thankful it's wrapped because a lot of the time when Amazon ships out books, they're not, and you know, Amazon's not the most careful when it comes to literature. So if you're looking to keep your books pristine, I don't know if I want to flip through this because there might be some naughty scenes, but I did read this online before I bought volume 2. Just skimmed it. I didn't want to spoil myself on the story. I still want to enjoy what I read. But the art was really pretty, and although the setup is a little sus, it turns out very sweet. So very cute. This is only 2 volumes long, so you know, not a lot of space needed on my shelf. I also like the name of the author, Kama Burger. That's super funny. The next one I'm super excited to own. It took a minute for this one to go on sale on Crunchyroll. This is The Color of the End, Mission in the Apocalypse by Haruo Iwamune. The art, first of all, looked amazing. And the story is apocalyptic, of a girl wandering the ruins of a post-apocalyptic world, finding survivors, helping them, burying the dead, with this overlying theme, it seems, of, you know, if everyone's dead and she's the only one left, she's gonna be, it seems, alone. But as you can tell, the artwork is so detailed, it's beautiful. So I'm super interested to see what this manga is about. Ooh. Seems very dark, but that's right up my alley. Been a while since I've read a post-apocalyptic story, so super excited for that one. The next one, I have not read it. I'm holding off. This is volume 7 of The Summer That Hikaru Died. A couple months ago, I finally watched the anime, and it was amazing. I'm really hoping that Netflix releases that on Blu-ray at some point. I feel like it did fairly well. I still see a lot of traction for it, and it gets recommended pretty often, I feel like. But I think there's 3 more volumes in Japan that have released, so... But because I started reading this primarily in English, I'm holding off on catching up with the Japanese release chapter, so I'm fighting spoilers back and forth. But volume 6 left off in a really interesting point. I don't want to spoil myself, but I gotta flip through a little bit. Very interesting thriller / horror that's a little BL coded. Depends on how you want to read it. It's really interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the mystery surrounding the town that this is set in fully is. You know, we kind of already learned that by volume 6, but not fully. Especially this guy. I want to know what his deal is. And if you've not heard about this one yet, now I will say this volume feels a little cheap, like the print job. Who printed this? Yen Press? I have noticed Yen Press has gotten a little cheap with their print jobs. Like, this cover feels very cheap. I don't know. Is it just me? I just feel like I've noticed that with especially Yen Press volumes. Like this one's not too bad, but it could just be that, you know, it's a new title, volume 1 of a series, so... But 7C is like, theirs is still glossy. It's fairly thick, so it's not going to wear down. This one just feels like super cheap, though. But yes, if you've not heard about this yet, I would highly recommend it. It's about these 2 boys who live in a very kind of isolated town that has this weird history behind it. Kind of horrifying history. One of the boys, Yoshiki, realizes his friend, after he went up the mountain and disappeared for a couple days, he was rediscovered, but who came back is not actually his friend. And he kind of just blurts that out to the being that now inhabits his friend's body. And they start to figure out more or less what this being is, what their purpose is, how they were created, and you know, how that ties into the history of the village, and a lot of kind of supernatural things going on. Very interesting, would highly recommend. Next I have Natsume Wants to Be Trained by Mamita. I've noticed a lot of these authors are using pen names now instead of like their actual name. This is exactly what it sounds like, and I did look it up beforehand. It's BL, but it did not appear to be, according to the reviews and what I skimmed, pure smut. a title like this seemed like it would just be pure smut, but from what I saw, it's not. The story seemed really cute. The main character has legitimate issues that he works through with this arrangement. Ah! Did I get this from Crunchyroll or from Amazon? I don't remember. It's got a really significant... Like, what is that? Like something pokey was on it. That's annoying. But it's not too big of a deal. Art looked really nice. Let me see if I can find a page that's not sexy. But yeah, art looked really good. And I'm interested in seeing what the story behind this gentleman is. Next, I have another BL. This is Loverboy Volume 1 by... Are these the authors or is that the artist? I don't know. Well, this one is explicit, so I'm not going to open it and flip through it. But I primarily got this one because this is one of those BLs that I read during my phase of reading a lot of Korean webcomics. It's when I first discovered them years ago. So I started reading a bunch of them on Lezen, and I was actually paying the fee to read chapter by chapter. But I binged quite a few of them, and I honestly wasn't expecting a lot of them to get printed in the US. I'm still waiting on one. The author of Love is an Illusion, I believe is the title. They have another manga that they published on Lezen prior to that one. The characters in that one actually are based on the original that I read. And I really wanted that one to be published because I liked the couple there more than from Love is an Illusion. But so far, nothing. But yes, this is one that I remember reading. The art style is very familiar. I definitely remember this character, but I don't remember much of the story. All I remember is that this guy is his senior, and yeah, he's divorced and he has a crush on him and stuff happens. It sounds messed up, and I think it was a little bit, but I remember enjoying it by the end, and the art was really cute, especially the main characters. Like, he just has that adorable look to him. So when I saw that this had gotten published, I was pretty interested. So that'll be a fun read, kind of refresh on the story. Next, it's not a BL this time. This is I Tamed My Ex-Husband's Mad Dog. I bought this one out of curiosity. I did skim a couple chapters online just to see if I would like it, because what mainly caught my eye was the cover. It's beautiful. And this guy is definitely handsome. The art is by Jagai, adapted by CMJM, original story by Jikyun. So I think this was based on a novel series, which I've noticed a lot. A lot of manga are based on novels that were published online and now are being adapted into manga. I read controversial reviews online. Some people really enjoyed it. Other people thought both the main characters were just too crazy. Personally, I like a certain form of crazy, and this guy's giving me that type of vibe. So I'm interested. I'm interested to see how crazy he is and how crazy his love interest, the main character, is. This is one of those stories where bad things happen and the main character gets a second chance, either through a second life or time gets rewound, something like that, and they have a second chance of changing their future. So apparently she stabs her betrothed right away once time rewinds. So definitely, willing to kill. That sounds pretty interesting. And the art looked really good. So excited about that one. Finally, the last one is another BL. I didn't know this was only 2 volumes. I might have just read it online had I known that, but I saw this on Crunchyroll and I read the summary and it sounded pretty interesting. Plus the art is very unique as well, just the coloring style I really enjoyed. It's called Dysfunctional Family Theory by Mayo Tsurukame. And it's about a guy who ends up gaining custody of his ex-girlfriend's child, who ends not the child, but the ex-girlfriend passes away, and she names him the father of her child, which I don't think he is, like, genetic wise, but her ex ends up coming, and they end up just kind of both taking care of the child. It sounded cute. Art looked really interesting. I hope I just didn't flip through something. And found family type of thing I really enjoy. So 2 guys trying to parent a child that they're kind of just put in charge of. Sounds like a fun time. So that's all of the manga. Next, I have some anime. I'll start with the anime and then I'll get to the last one. I was pretty excited about this. I've been searching for this for a minute, not too long. I kind of just randomly remembered the series one day and searched for it on eBay and found out it's out of print. Does not surprise me. I don't think this was well known or that popular when it first released. I think it received okay reviews, but people didn't really gravitate towards it. It was around the time before anime really got popular in mainstream, so it just didn't get its chance in the limelight. I remember this airing on Funimation's website when that was still up. This is ID Invaded. It is a series revolving around a detective who also happens to be a criminal. He committed a crime and is now under police authority, but he travels through, gosh, what was it? You see him on the cover using the machine that they use to travel through history, I think. I forgot how. But he uses this to find clues for certain cases and find evidence. I remember it being really interesting. The OP and the ED slapped. And I found this on eBay for $30, I want to say. Plus shipping, which is not a bad price right now. It's a little more expensive, especially if you get... I see more of the special edition available now than the regular one. And I think you can still buy that version on Amazon, but it's like $70 or $80. I'm fine with the standard edition. And this came in perfect condition with the exception of the case. So here's the inside slipcover. All the discs played perfectly fine. They also have this neat... Oops, snap. I don't want to show y'all most of it because of this reason. The case was really the only issue that I had with this purchase because it just doesn't hold the discs anymore. And that could be why the seller was selling it. They slip off so easily. So I have to be really careful with this one. But yeah, even though they kind of clip in a little bit, they really don't hold the discs together. And at first I thought these were bootlegs because the art on the disc was just really fuzzy. But I think that's just the style. Because this series is not popular enough, I think, to receive a bootleg. And everything else checked out. But nevertheless, I'm excited to have this series in my collection. I'll just have to look around and see if I can find a case to replace it with. But very interesting mystery show. I would recommend it. Next, I got this from Amazon. It was on sale as well. This is One Punch Man Season 2. I didn't get this for a long time because I just didn't enjoy Season 2 as much. I know people rag on it for the terrible animation, and they're not wrong, but it got to the story because I used to read One Punch Man webcomic. I used to read the webcomic that's really poorly drawn by the original author. And I was enjoying it up until it got to the point where the season 2 kind of hit, where they start to focus a lot on the side characters. And I just stopped being interested. I started watching and reading for One Punch Man, and once it stopped being about One Punch Man, I just checked out and gave up. I have not caught up to the well-drawn manga either. And this got pretty beat up. So just remember, if you order things from Amazon, it's probably being stored in a warehouse that has a lot of tight storage conditions. So if you want something really pristine, you probably won't get it from Amazon. Yeah, this was definitely really tight against another thing. I can feel the indent. Oh, there's actually an inner sleeve artwork. There's I think King was his name. I don't remember the old guy's name. And season 2 only had 12 episodes. The first one, did it have 24 or did it also have 12? I think it had 12. I don't remember, honestly. There we go. Perfect condition at least. No scratches. Because sometimes you never know. Even though they're sealed, they might still get scratched up from storage. I don't know if that's intentional. It's gotta be. But yeah, I'm glad to have this before it goes out of print. I was really hoping at one point, who is this, Viz Media? Yeah, Viz Media would release a season 1 and 2 box set. Or at least Walmart. I would have thought that this sold well enough for Walmart to justify making a season 1 and 2 box set like they have been doing for My Hero. And they're recently releasing the Apothecary Diaries Season 1 collection that I pre-ordered because I'm not paying for a Season 1 and 2, and Crunchyroll's only selling the special edition steelbook, which I'm fine not having. Walmart right now is really coming in clutch with these full season box sets. But unfortunately that did not happen yet. If it does happen in the future, I'll probably trade out my single seasons for those. Next, I was pretty excited about this. This was on sale on Amazon for pretty cheap. I think it was like $12. This is Full Metal Panic, the complete series. There is a season 2, I believe, after this. I forget what it's called. But this is a series I actually never finished, but I did enjoy what I just saw, and I think it's considered a classic because this is animated by Kyoto Animation. Same studio that did Clannad. Did they do Konosuba? No, they didn't. They did Hyoka. They did The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, K-On! All those really well animated kind of moe shows. They did Shunibyu. I'm blanking on their more recent stuff. They did Nichijou, Free, definitely classic. But yeah, this is one of their earlier shows. It's a mecha. Really fun, really enjoyable, great characters from what I remember. I just never finished it. And I've been meaning to add this to my collection for the longest time, but I always held off because I never finished it, and I figured, well, if I don't like the ending, I may not want it. But I feel like this is one of those series that at some point is going to go out of print very soon, so I went ahead and picked it up. And it's a full 24 episode series, so I definitely think it's worth it, especially if it's on sale. Ooh. Uh-oh. I hope it's still clips in there. Okay, I think, yeah. All the discs appear to be the same, just slightly different colors. And this is a DVD and Blu-ray box set, which is pretty nice. Those are rare nowadays. Unless they're like special editions. And finally, I have the Cartoon Network Halloween Creepy Cartoon Capers. This has 9 episodes from some classic Cartoon Network cartoons. I primarily bought this because it contains the Billy and Mandy Halloween special. I have season 1 of Billy and Mandy, which apparently is very rare. I lucked out and found it at the thrift store for like $1. And found out later that it was out of print and very expensive online. But it's season 1, and season 1 did not have my most memorable favorite episode, which is the Jacked Up Halloween special. This is embarrassing for me to admit, but I had a crush on that pumpkin guy when I was younger. Not his human part. Once they cut off his head and he gave himself a pumpkin head, it was over. I really liked his design and his voice combined with it. I don't think a season 2 of Billy and Mandy was ever released in the US. I know there exists a copy that I think is intended for region 4, which is South America. But I don't really want to have to deal with the regions, so I went ahead and got this. I think I bought this, I got this from eBay. And I got it for $20, which I don't think is too terrible for my favorite episode. I'm really hoping at some point they still release a full collection of the Billy and Mandy episodes, because I think the only other episodes that were released outside of season 1 episodes is the Boogie movie and I think the Christmas special and another collection like this. I'm fine not having those, but it would be nice to have the whole series. And I'm also, at least with this one, I also have the Dexter's Lab, the Cow and Chicken, I Am Weasel, Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd n Eddy, and Johnny Bravo specials. Courage too, and actually I have Ed, Edd n Eddy and Courage the Cowardly Dog complete series, so those don't really matter, but I loved Johnny Bravo as a kid, so that's nice to have I always loved the Halloween specials for series, so I'm happy to just have a collection of them. So that's it for the media. Next, I have an Evangelion figure. This is the 30th anniversary figure featuring both Kaworu and Shinji. Oh, Kaworu's the only one on here. They only put his name on this. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is this only Kaworu? I thought this had both of them. Oh no. I made a mistake. I did like Kaworu, but I thought this was a figure of both of them. So that's the main reason I got it, because I like the idea of having both of them perched like this. And I thought for what I was paying, I was getting a pretty good price. But now that I know it's just Kaworu, the price is not that good. But it's fine. I did like Kaworu. I've been meaning to get a Kaworu figure for the longest time. The only one that ever interested me was kind of expensive, so I never jumped the gun, because it would have been a bulky figure to have anyway. But yeah, this is a prize figure by, is this Sega? Who made this? VIGNETTEUM. Never heard of that company. It might just be Sega that made the figure. Now, one thing I don't like about this camera so far is that I can't zoom in too far. But hopefully I can still show off some details. So here he is. He's pretty well done, actually. His face looks a little weird, but I think that's because they're trying to imitate the style of the original anime, which looked kind of wonky at some points. Other than that, yeah, he kind of looks off in certain angles. Sculpt looks okay. There's a hole in his butt for him to stay perched. He's got details on his shoes. Very cool. His sneakers as well have some details. Very cool. So yeah, I would say standard prize figure quality. You can kind of see the texture of the sculpting in the clay and the paint job on his shirt, but other than that, everything is pretty smooth. Well, you can kind of see some texture in the pants too. It's not too bad. He's also not a bad size. I wonder if he could... No, this is not something you could substitute as a noodle stopper figure. He definitely needs his base, which is just this piece of debris. Assembly-wise, he's okay. I really had to press him down to make sure he was flush with the base. But then his hand didn't really want to be pressed down all the way. I had to really force him to lean that way. And he still has a small gap. So if you're looking something that's pretty realistic, this is probably not your figure. But he's okay. I'm gonna have to hunt down Shinji now. I hope I can find him for a good price. Usually Kaworu is the more expensive one, so I'm hoping that's still the case. And that is it for this haul. If you're interested in any of these titles, I will have the names in the description. I stopped linking because my links ended up dead after a while, Crunchyroll especially. Their links are pretty dead after a couple months since they're really releasing a lot of their stock. So a lot of the links for them don't work anymore for older series that they don't sell. But you can at least use the names to search up any shops that might still sell the product. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.